Welcome, fellow explorers, and it's great to be here with you today to talk all things Antarctica with HX. We have over 1,000 of you registered. I know you won't all be here live, but if you're not and listening to the recording, we welcome you too. As Lee said in the introduction, if you do have questions, then please do put them in the chat, and we have a team in the background that will answer those, and I will introduce them shortly. But also we will have a question and answer session at the end with the common themes. I'm joined today, as usual, with my dear friends and colleagues, Verena, our Chief Scientist, and Karin, our VP of Expedition Development. And we'll also bring in Ollie, our Director of Guest Communication, Guest Content, later in the webinar to talk about some of his personal experiences. In the background, we have Sarah, Daniel, and Marcel, who are our expedition travel specialists. They're joining the webinar, and this is kind of a new thing for us. But if you would like to discuss a trip or a booking, then please feel free to leave your name and number in the chat, and they will call you back within the next 24 hours or so to be able to discuss that with you. So if you leave your name and number in the chat, that chat is private. The Q&A is different. So please leave it in the chat and we will do that. And they will get back to you. We're also joined by Alice and Lasse and Ollie, who will be answering questions as we go through. But as we have lots of German guests, we thought it'd be quite nice if Verena introduced Marcel in Deutsch. Thank you, Verena.
Ja, gerne. So, heute haben wir auch Marcel mit uns. Er gehört zu unserem Guest Excellence Team und er ist hier auch zur Verfügung, wenn Sie nach diesem Anruf eine persönliche Call mit ihm haben möchten, dann können Sie Ihren Namen und Telefonnummer in den Chat einschreiben und er wird euch zurück anrufen innerhalb der nächsten 24 bis 48 Stunden zurück anrufen. Also, aber tun Sie das bitte in den Chat, nicht in den Questions and Answers Chat. Nur den Chat. Danke.
Thank you, Verena. Okay, so now we will get into the body of the webinar. We'll do a little introduction to HX. For those of you new to HX, I know many of you have sailed with us before, so welcome back. But at HX, we have grown our latest iteration is HX through from Hurtigruten Expeditions and Hurtigruten before there. But we have a strong pedigree and heritage back from 1986. So 1896. So we will be celebrating our 30th year, 130th year. I'm getting it all wrong today. Our 130th year next year. We curate our trips made for curious travelers. So very much science and education, having a voyage with a sense of purpose and meaning are very much at the heart of what we do, along with mindful adventure, so sustainability and low impact as we possibly can. Our trips are balanced with a mix of adventure and incredibly comfortable ships, and we mentioned sustainability. We are, in terms of Antarctic adventure or our trips, we are the most trusted operator, and that's through a Cruise Industry News report back in 2025, and we have an incredibly high NPS rating, customer feedback rating. So we very much pride ourselves, but we also always look for improvement, and that has been part of our journey over the years since we've been operating in these incredibly remote places. Any journey to Antarctica takes us across the incredible Drake Passage or in the Southern Ocean. Karin has been working as an expedition leader for many years before coming into the office like Verena and myself. But Karin, tell us a little bit about crossing the Drake Passage.
Yeah, the Drake Passage is, I would say, the sort of your right to go to Antarctica, because it took the early explorers a much longer rite of passage to get there, and this is ours in the modern time. So you have the big, because it's very deep, so you have these big swells. Apart from if you've been to the North Sea, you have it very, it is very shallow, so you have these very towering waves. But in the Southern Ocean, you get these long waves, and then the fantastic bird life that you see when you cross the Drake Passage. So if everybody thinks that the Drake Passage is just a passage without nothing happening, it couldn't be further from the truth. We do all our briefings there to get you ready for Antarctica, and you have this amazing bird life. So you have a lot to look forward to, and then at some point you will see your first iceberg, your first penguins and so forth when you come closer.
And in terms, we've actually all been to Antarctica a lot, but in terms of, we often talk about the Drake Lake and the Drake Shake, and I know there's lots of apprehension and nervousness of this this ocean crossing. In terms of, Karin, in terms of the number of trips you've done, how many do you get a Drake Shake, and how bad can the Drake Shake? How do people deal with it?
1 out of 10, I would say, is a Drake Shake, about. And then because we have stabilizers on our ships, you don't get that rolling feeling that you did with the older ships back in the days when we started. But it's now more of a pitch. So yeah, you will have a few hours when you would probably not move around a lot. You would stay more put, but you would still be enjoying seeing the ocean for what it is. It's waves, and you feel that you're on the ocean, and sometimes that is maybe some of the strongest memories you bring back. So I think it has its charm, even though if it's a Drake Shake, or semi-Drake Shake.
No, and I think it is that preparation, that mental preparation, but also physical preparation. And Verena, we do a lot on board. Karin mentioned the birds, but also we do a lot of preparation on board. Do you want to tell us a bit about what we do? Because people, I know guests, you ask, what do we do for this time when we're at sea? Do we just sit around and watch Netflix?
No, of course not. We do try to get you as ready as possible for when we do our first landing. So we will instruct you on where to go and pick up the boots that you will get from us. We will tell you how to enter and exit the Zodiacs. That will be your means of transportation for the duration of the trip. But we will also start teaching you everything that there is to learn about the destination in the form of lectures and activities in the Science Center, using all the amazing equipment that we have on board. So it is, like Karin said, like Tudor said, it is for us a very important part of going to Antarctica, this Drake crossing, not just because of the experience, but of everything that we will be sharing with you on those first days.
And the reflection going back.
Exactly.
And of course, I think, everybody in this call interested in Antarctica know about Antarctica is the driest, the highest continent in the world. It is the piece of Antarctica that we see on the Antarctic Peninsula is this rugged, carved by ice. Seeing those first icebergs, the incredible light. People think it's a continent of just one color, but the variety that we see is absolutely incredible. And I think it's part of that breathtaking. And we're going to bring Ollie into the call later to talk about his impressions when he first went. So yeah, something that's really, seeing it and in person is something just really, really special. We've got a little short video here that I'll just be playing as a little introduction. So here we go.
I feel it's a sensation.
Welcome to the Antarctic continent.
Antarctica is the place where you see and understand what we need to protect. When you have been there, it changes your perception of life. You see nature at its most pure. Seeing the penguins, having them look at you, pondering who you are and what you are like, and then just walking off, not bothered by your presence. That is something special, something that you experience rarely with wild animals.
Wonderful, good evening, dear guests.
In Antarctica, when you are here, watch, listen, and feel it. Take that time to actually appreciate where you are and what you are actually seeing.
Just remember to listen and see if you see it calm.
There is no silence in Antarctica. You hear the crackling of the ice, some distant wildlife. You hear a puff of a whale in the distance that you might not see. But this you can only experience if you yourself take the time to listen.
We have some big ones here.
The mission is to have guests fall in love,
Thank you very much. Enjoy.
to understand it,
The 195 million years old,
and to broaden their minds,
but it is blocked by the huge iceberg on the other side.
to see the stars in the eyes of guests when they see their first penguin, or when they see their first iceberg, when they walk on snow for the first time. Antarctica is a place you can know everything about, but the feeling you get, the sensation that it gives you, is something you cannot get anywhere else.
Fantastic. I think we couldn't say those words in a better way. So it's yeah, I can't wait to go back myself. However many times I've been, every time I see that. And of course, one of the highlights of Antarctica is its wildlife. And I'd like to ask Verena to talk a little bit about the highlights of what we may see.
Well, of course, you all know you will be seeing penguins when you go to Antarctica, the home of the penguins. But there is not only penguins there, it is also home to a number of other seabirds, and seals and whales also make of the cold waters of the Antarctic Ocean their home, at least for the summer. The whales, when they are using this productive ecosystem to feed after the breeding season in more temperate waters. So it is an incredible place to see wildlife in big numbers. That is what is impressive in Antarctica. You do see big groups of penguins, whales, seals. So yeah, it's a very, very good place to see, particularly birds.
And what's your favorite bird, Verena?
That is why I say birds. It is also one of the only places, and as Karin very well put it, to see albatrosses. This is the wandering albatross, also known as the snowy albatross. And these amazing birds make the Southern Ocean also their home. They nest in many of the islands around the continent. And it is breathtaking to see for yourself the biggest flying bird on Earth, which is this one, the wandering albatross. So that is my favorite bird in Antarctica. How about you, Tudor? What is your favorite animal?
Well, I mean, it's easy to say penguins and birds and whales, but I think one of the things that's really taken my breath away, and one of the things that really kind of excites me now, is when we look at the microscopic world, and these little shrimp type things, krill, which are really the base of the ecosystem that whales, seals, penguins, everything eats. And when we look at those, it's absolutely, incredible. You think, these massive multi-ton species like sperm whales and humpback whales, this is what they live on. And then seeing the really microscopic world of dinoflagellates up in the top left-hand corner, from collecting a tiny water sample and the pinprick of this, and seeing this is the things that drive the ecosystems and the diatom. So I have lately I've become a real fan of the microscopic world and how that works. So yeah, I think that really brings out the boy in me and the exploration side. One of the questions we really get asked about is, when is the best time to go to Antarctica? The Antarctic season runs through the summer, so when we get a lot of daylight through from November through to March. And we can really sort of think about the seasons in Antarctica. And this slide is a really good graphic representation. And maybe Alice, if you could maybe screenshot this and put it in the chat so people can refer to it. But in terms of wildlife, what's your favorite time, Verena?
For wildlife, me personally, I love November because that is when all the penguins are coming back to breed, and everything is white and pristine, and all of a sudden everything is silent, and a wave of penguins pops out of the ocean into this white environment is breathtaking.
Yeah.
If you're lucky to see,
If you are lucky, of
to
course.
see that massive wave, because that's a
But-
few days. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
but you will still see a lot of
Yeah.
big penguin groups moving from the ocean to the colonies and back. So it is, for me, November.
I agree.
I know there's no chicks, but
Karin,
No.
you agree with November,
I agree with
but
November.
the second part.
Oh, so my second
Yes,
best.
best.
Second best. Okay, I can go with second best. I would actually have to say January, because it's at the height of it's on. I would say Antarctic is on steroids in January,
Yeah.
because I mean the chicks are out and it's still not too. I mean there's still a lot snow still on the landing sites, so I think I would say January
Very
as
good.
number two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for me, I know this is broad brush, but I think any time you go to Antarctica is the best time.
Yeah.
And it does vary. And we do get guests coming back from November, and then they want to try the end of the season. And one of the things I think, that shows on this slide, at the end of the season, the Antarctic summer is small. It's relatively short. So at the end of the season, you really feel, winter is coming. The days are getting shorter. You get these incredible light. So, for me, any time is a great time. But I totally, it's you can't go wrong.
No.
We operate 3 ships in Antarctica. MS Roald Amundsen and MS Fridtjof Nansen are our sister ships, hybrids. We take on average 450 guests, purpose built. Karin is the godmother of MS Roald Amundsen. Would you like to just talk a little bit about the ships, obviously Nansen as well, but in terms of what makes them so special?
Well, they were purpose built, one in 2007 and the others we did in the late 2018 and so forth. And they have 2 of them are hybrid, which is with the first in the class. So we have had a huge focus on sustainability, even back in 2007. So, and what I think is special about all these ships is that we have a legacy of having really good outdoor space for you being able to view the environment as you go through. So I think that is one of the massive strengths we have on these ships is the outdoor space for our guests. And I also think that it's so spacious inside that even if the ships are like at capacity, you don't feel it. You do not feel, you have always a place you can sit where you can be on your own and sort of enjoy the environment. So I would say those 2 things in the beginning. Yeah.
So Amundsen and Nansen were 2018, 2019, so still very new. As Karin said, Fram. Karin was in the shipyard with building Fram, and I was in the shipyard with building Amundsen, and we were there. Well, we all were. So we're very very passionate about these ships and big believers, and that really relaxed feel is really important. We offer multiple itineraries to Antarctica. In fact, I think this season we have 32, varying from a highlights trip to more in-depth Antarctic Circle trips through to on MS Fram going to the Falklands, South Georgia, and Antarctica. So we have multiple trips that fit and can fit for you. So depending on the time you have, depending on which ship you'd like to go on, then we choose. Our trips do start in Buenos Aires or Santiago, and we run charter flights. down to the gateway ports. And also we have these trips at the start and at the end of the season, which you don't need to fly from Buenos Aires. You join the ship in Buenos Aires or Valparaiso. So there are multiple options. So if you are interested, I would recommend you sort of look in depth on the web, and then call our expedition travel specialists like Daniel, Sarah, and Marcel, ready to go. On trips to Antarctica, then really the conditions are the control. So our itineraries are flexible, and every day the expedition leader will work with the captain and the onboard team to get the ship in the right place at the right time. We do on our website and our catalogs, we do highlight some of the places we go to, but every itinerary is different. So there's no one trip is the same. Access to south of the circle, we do that later in the season after January when the ice has receded. So at the start of the season, we are further north. Some of our trips particularly at the start and the end of the season, and also Armageddon before Christmas, and every trip on MS Fram, we go to the incredible Falkland Islands. Verena, tell us a little bit about the Falklands.
Well, I do love the Falkland Islands. It's an incredible place with an incredible vegetation, but also a lot of birds. As you can imagine, as you can have guessed by now, I really do like my birds. But the Falkland Islands is particularly the place at the right left top of your picture is a place that we go to with all our 2 ships that go to the Falklands, Amundsen and Fram. It's Saunders Island, and it's a magical place where you get to see up to 4 species of penguins on that simple landing, in addition to other bird species and so on. But also the capital, Stanley, is a very nice little town. It has a great museum that we highly recommend you go visit if you are in Stanley. And yeah, it's just really amazing. It feels like a travel in time to visit the Falkland Islands.
Really, it's a really special place and very underrated, I would say. So yeah, another place that I think all of us here love going to. And then we get to South Georgia. Karin, South Georgia, what makes South Georgia so special? And these trips are on MS Fram.
Yes, the Fram goes to the Serengeti of the Southern Ocean. That's what we call it, you know, amongst us people who go there frequently, because there is an abundance of king penguins. Some of the largest king penguin colonies in the world is there. You have more than 4.5 million fur seals. You have large colonies of elephant seals. There are, on the southern tip, there are also concentrations of macaroni penguins. Those colonies are more protected than before, so they are visible from a small boat cruising level. But South Georgia also have to, you know, Verena's great admiration, some of the largest concentrations of albatrosses and variation of albatrosses as well, especially on the northern tip where you actually, you know, land in on your first couple of landings. So it's just, I don't think I have words for it properly. You'd really just have to go there. And then you see the consequences of human activities as well, weather whaling, and the whales are luckily coming back. And then you have the epitome of history. You have Shackleton's grave in Grytviken. You have there is so much. There is human history. There is incredible wildlife, and you just have to go there. It's the only way I can describe it. You know, it's, you know, even after 20 years, and I've been there every year. It does. You can never ever become complacent going to South Georgia. Just go.
Yeah, you can never have enough.
No, just go.
and I think, you know, people say, you know, what's the trip you would choose? And of course, this trip is longer, which means it's more expensive. But if you wanted all the Fram trips, Falkland, South Georgia, Antarctica, have it all.
It
Yeah.
will never disappoint.
Yeah. Okay, we move on. But of course, on all our trips, we really look at having that spirit of adventure. As I mentioned, we build those. So we do look at going to the right place at the right time, but really looking at that mixture from icebergs to the penguin colonies, to the history, the heritage, and we really bring that out with what we do on board. We really have these incredible ships that Karin mentioned, and that mix of what we do with that balance of the comfort and the sailing, and also our outward facing ships. So we have the deck space, but also the comfort from within the ships to look out. So they've been built for that purpose, and also providing, which we'll talk about, that platform for our guest scientists to collect their data and share their experiences with you. We have multiple activities that we operate on board, and we keep you busy during the day. In terms of we have these Zodiacs, or small inflatable expedition boats, which are the workhorse of the expedition industry, and they really take us. They're like our taxis. They take us off the ship to our landings. Science boats. We do small boat cruising, assist in everything. But in terms of the activities, Karin, we do multiple activities. So tell us a little bit about what we can do as when we're there.
Basic for everyone, and which we endeavor to do most of all, is the landings and the small boat cruising. That is two activities that we plan for absolutely everybody and almost every day. We might not combine small boat cruising and landing every day, but we will do either 2 landings or 1 landing, 1 cruising, or combine it in some fashion. And then we have a few other activities that are a little bit more on the lower side of participation when it comes to, because we can't take that many. It's kayaking, for example. We take now more kayakers than ever. We will talk a little bit about that later. We also do camping. We take more campers than before, and then snowshoeing. So those 3 activities are what we try to do. And when it says extended hikes, it means that some of these landing sites are relatively large. So it means that it could be that you hike up to a viewpoint in order to see a penguin colony, because they're really funny. They go really high up to find their nests. So so I think that combination is what we have.
Excellent. Yeah. So we really have that. And also, we are very active parts of IATA, which is the industry group. So everything we do is very much there's regulated. We're permitted through the UK government for all our operations. Our guides go through IATA assessments every year, and that's in terms of how we operate and how we brief you to behave. But also things like biosecurity are also very important in these fragile places. At HX, we are all inclusive. So what does that mean? We give you an expedition jacket. We give you these incredible ocean water bottles, which are part of our partnership with Ocean Bottle. We look at our science and creativity and what we do. Our dining options on our bigger ships, Almonds and Nansen, we have 3 dining options, cocktails, etc., on Fram. We have those 2 dining options. We also have internet is included, which is through Starlink, satellite internet. But we also have jacuzzis on the bigger ships. We have a small pool, spa. We, of course, with our roots in Norway, our ships have incredible saunas. And we also, as part of our expedition teams, we have a professional photographer. And they will help you through your trip to get the best of with your own camera or your phone, but they will also provide a portfolio of photos for you at the end of the trip. Our ships are incredibly comfortable. They're incredibly relaxed. You do not need a tie or a dress unless you want them. but the aim is for you to be relaxed in your environment and to be able to do that at your own pace. As we mentioned, they are very spacious, so there is always lots of room to find a perfect place to read your book, to look out of the window, or to enjoy yourself with the science and education program. So lots to do. We really work on our food. Food is very important to everybody on holiday. Our food and our drink program. We buy a lot of local food, and our restaurants and our team are incredible. And usually the problem is making sure that your clothes fit when you leave the trip, because they tend to be a little bit tighter. When you go to Antarctica, clothes shrink a little bit, I find. Yeah, I think I've been going to Antarctica too much. But anyway, yeah, certainly incredibly comfortable on board. Karin mentioned the activities, but during any day, we aim to get you out on at least or on 2 activities. So a landing, small boat cruising, and then also the extras of kayaking, science boat, snowshoeing, and mixed in with that, we have lectures on board, we have science center sessions, practical sessions, deck watch sessions. So there's a lot going on. You choose at your rate what you would like to do. And the aim is for you to be comfortable, but the aim also for us is to be able to provide that insight into this incredible destination. In terms of what you need to take, then we really have, we want, again, comfort is important, but we recommend taking layers. You don't need to buy expedition equipment or massive down jackets, but lots of layers. Onboard ship is very comfortable, but we recognize that you're going to be wanting to go on deck to go and look at whales or the wandering albatross that Verena's so passionate about. So really getting out on deck is getting out, and also having that variability and layers really important. Any expedition, we recommend taking binoculars with you, because as a really good way of enhancing your experience. We've just sort of put in some sort of magic moments from recent trips that the 3 of us have been on. And this is one, and for me, it sort of epitomizes expedition travel, where this is at the end of a day when we went up into these, this is on an Antarctic Circle trip, where we went up into these incredible channels after dinner, and the light just got better and better. And with the outside deck on the ship was full of people coming in, and then come in for a hot chocolate, looking out of the bar, then going back outside, and it just was magical, and the reflections and the calmness. So for me, you can plan as much as you want, but these moments and making the most of these moments is really special. Karin, you love sort of activities, and tell us a little bit about what's going on here.
I love a lot of things.
Yes.
And this is one of them. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And this is a very opportunistic kind of activity. It's called sea ice landing. And when we were talking about what part of the season is very good to go to Antarctica, this is one of Verena and my kind of traits, which is the beginning of the season. This is where you mostly get that opportunity. And this cannot be planned a long time in advance. We have to sit on the bridge, we have to look, and we have to assess as we go, and then off we go. And that means quick announcement, hop in your clothes, and off we go.
Walking on water.
Walking on water.
Walking on water.
And Verena, we've got some stuff here too.
Yes. For me, the best moments is when we are supporting science. And in that you can see here, this was last year, we were supporting a project deploying recorders in a few places along the Antarctic Peninsula, and they stayed over the winter recording everything. We recovered them in January this year. It was actually the guest who helped find them, and the scientist Heidi from Norwegian Polar Institute analyzed the data, had a quick listen to what has been recorded in 10 months, and this is what she found out. Humpback whale sounds, orca sounds recorded during the winter along the Antarctic Peninsula, and our guests were the very first ones to listen to this recording. So for me, that is amazing. It is a once in a lifetime opportunity.
And continue on in terms of our program on board.
Yes, well, as we mentioned for the crossing, we've really tried to give you all the opportunities to learn through different means about Antarctica. There is so much to learn. There is to learn about the ice, the animals, the weather, everything. And we combine lectures, activities in the Science Center, such as looking at the samples that were collected during the science boat, and other activities. We also invite you to join us on deck to do deck watches. And as I mentioned, we have guest scientists, and in this coming season, we will have them throughout the season on all 3 vessels. This is just an example of some of the projects that we will be supporting: whale research, penguin research, snow research, social science projects joining us. So please do. People love to interact with our research, with our guest scientists when they are on board, and learn directly from them. We also support a number of citizen science projects, and I will ask Alice to share these on the chat. If you are curious, not just about Antarctica, but to use these applications on your daily life, eBird and Merlin ID are fantastic for learning about birds, iNaturalist, to learn about plants and everything. We teach our guests to use all these applications throughout the trip and encourage them to continue using them after they return home.
Great resources to have.
And you may have heard that last season we launched a collaboration with the University of Tasmania to offer our guests intro courses to Antarctica, made in collaboration with UTAS. They were a big success. Therefore, we are continuing this collaboration, and we have even decided to do a 2-tier course this time. One, the intro course that will be offered free of charge to everybody traveling with HX, and a second course, a comprehensive course that can take up to 20 hours to fill. This one will have a small fee, will be available year-round, and you can do it whenever you want after the trip. It will also be accredited by USA, and you can even carry the credits over for a study and qualifications with University of Tasmania. So this is an amazing opportunity for all of those wanting to learn more about Antarctica as well.
Yeah. And the introduction course is a great way to prepare for the trip, or do it during the trip or after the trip. So that's great. We thought it'd be really good to bring in Ollie at this stage. Karin, Verena, and myself have been going back and forth to Antarctica, and I just did a quick sum in my head. I think between us, we've got like 70 years of experience going back and forth, whilst Ollie is relatively new to HX. So Ollie, we're going to ask you to just talk a little bit about your experiences coming in. So thanks for coming in front of the camera.
No worries, thank you. So yeah, as Tudor mentioned, I have nowhere near the level of experience of these 3, and but I've been with the company for 2 years now, and I was lucky enough to visit in March of this year with my friend. And so I just thought I'd talk a little bit about my experience. So if you go to the next slide, please. So yeah, I'd heard many person within the company talk about that magic moment where you've traveled across the Drake Passage. It takes a couple of days, and during that experience, as the team have mentioned, it's amazing to see the bird life and the icebergs appearing as you're sailing through the Drake. But typically you will actually land in Antarctica whilst you're asleep. So you wake up in the morning and you have that absolutely sensational moment and feeling of seeing the continent. And this is what I've videoed here.
Wow.
And what that can't really kind of capture the emotions that you go through in that experience, and how overwhelming it is, and the silence and the peace and the tranquility. But yeah, I hope you know, for anybody who's lucky enough to go on this experience, that you feel quite the experience that I did there, because it was just blew my mind.
I love the wow at the end. And you fell in love with penguins, Ollie?
I did. Yeah, many thousands of photos of penguins, but I compiled my my top photos, and I'm a real amateur when it comes to photography. But I did borrow my dad's Nikon and had a stab at photography whilst I was there, as well as using my iPhone. Yeah, I fell in love with photography and penguins in particular. And these are just some of the shots that I took, and you can see they're predominantly Gen 2 penguins. But the one in the top right is the Adelie that we were lucky to see on the continent.
And you got happy videoing as well with your iPhone.
I did. So yeah, hopefully this again kind of brings to life the experience of landing on the peninsula and being able to see these penguins and be in close proximity to them and engage with them. You know, obviously I'd seen penguins in the zoo, but it's not quite the same when you're actually landing on the 7th continent. And this was a particularly friendly little chap or chapess penguin.
And I like the sounds in this one. So yeah.
And this one is a beach landing. So yeah, this you can see they're all kind of just waddling around, minding their own business, enjoying the scenery, and they're just not at all bothered by us as humans, and they're not impacted by us being there. So you can just kind of stand and watch and engage and listen and observe, and it's just magical.
Yeah, well, whilst observing the IATO or the treaty guidelines of keeping the safe, respectable distance.
Yeah, no more than 5 meters.
Oh, and then this one from the water.
And then this one is from a kayak. So my friend and I were lucky enough to go kayaking, and you can see the Gen 2s just come sailing past, swimming. I didn't realize they can do, I think it's up to 30 kilometers an hour that they can swim. I had no idea of that before I'd actually visited the continent. It's just fantastic to see them coming past me like that.
And Ollie,
and then this is really embarrassing. Tudor loves pulling this one out. And,
I'm not going to get away with it.
I did take the plunge, and yeah, I was quite nervous about doing this, and I kind of built it up mentally. But yeah, I'll let Tudor play it because my friend's kind of egging me on.
Here we go.
Go on, Ol. Go for it. In there. Go on. Just do it. Don't stop. Don't look back. Just keep going. Don't stop.
Mr. Motivator, right?
Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Go on, down you go. Well done.
Yeah.
So yeah, I built it up a lot in my mind, but actually it was really refreshing and quite the experience, and I loved it actually, and felt amazing afterwards. So
yeah,
yeah.
And then, we do polar. Sorry, Ollie. We do polar plunge 2 ways. We do it from a beach like that, but we also now do it from the ship. So we do opportunities to get cold and wet in multiple ways now.
Yeah, and as Verena mentioned, we have a huge focus on board in terms of science and exploring the regions that we visit, and citizen science is a key aspect of that. So I took this photo on the left-hand side of the screen here with my dad's SLR Nikon, and I was able to upload that to Happy Whale, and that whale's fluke or tail is identifiable through their technology and the software that they have, and they could actually track that humpback whale was actually sighted for the first time in 2018, and that it's traveled over 10,000 miles since and been sighted 7 times. And you know, that was just fantastic to be able to link that data back to an actual photo that I took in Antarctica. Really powerful, and And that's also something that before you travel to Antarctica, you can kind of look at how many sightings there have been of whales in the region in the few weeks before you travel as well, which is great.
A great way to contribute to global census data. So yeah, well done, Ollie.
Yeah, and then finally, again, we can't guarantee that everybody will get this experience, but when I traveled in March, my friend who'd never been in a kayak before and I were out doing a kayaking excursion, and we had humpback whales come about 20-30 meters away from us, and we were just sat there in absolute, you know, our minds were blown. You can hear some noises, and they're diving, and absolutely incredible.
Yeah, being on the water in a kayak gives a whole different and experience. So something definitely recommend doing. And also towards the end of the season, it is when the whales have been feeding through the summer, so they do sort of hang around much. So this type of experience is more common in the end of the season.
And just the noises, and like it's like a primeval experience, like being in Jurassic Park or something. So it's just absolutely mind-blowing. You can see they're diving and they're making that noise. Incredible experience.
There's a bloke.
Yeah.
I think when you get those whales blow and you can kind of almost feel it, you know, it's like the bass in when you go to a pop concert, you feel it going through your body, and the spray is incredible.
And it doesn't have to be from a kayak.
No.
It can be just
Zodiac, out on deck. Yeah.
I would say, because it's
Yeah. Okay, I'm conscious, Ollie, that we're going to want me to give time for questions. Do you want to run through this one, Ollie? As your
Yeah, very, very quickly. We have some really good offers on at the moment. So as a little gift for joining our webinar today, we're delighted to offer you a 5% additional voucher that's combinable with other offers that we have. That's only bookable via our call center or your travel agent direct. And that is HX Web Events 25. So please write that down or remember that. And that's available for 2 weeks. And then at the same time, we have a HX Explorers, which is our loyalty program sale for the month of October. So if you're not a member currently, you can sign up and benefit from an additional 5% off. Or if you have traveled with us previously, you will be a level 2 and you're able to benefit from 10% off. And as Tudor mentioned earlier, you can chat to one of our call center reps on the line if you give us your details, and there's lots of solo offers on at the moment as well. And on this slide here is just some examples of last minute deals that we have available for the upcoming season for the US and UK and German markets.
So what you're saying, Ollie, is never a better time to book than now.
Yeah, I mean, if I was to ask Karin, what would you say, Karin?
Book now.
Book now. Yeah. That's what you normally say, Karin. What?
I just wondered if you remembered. It's now. It's Don't wait. It
is the adventure of a lifetime, and we have some seriously good offers at the moment, so we highly recommend booking.
And we've been very lucky to be able to get those experiences ourselves.
Yeah.
We do have a series of webinars on different destinations, and we also do pre-departure webinars to prepare you. So if you do want to watch more, then again, this is a link that you can scan with your phone. But again, we'll ask Alice to put that in the chat for further reference. And I'll stop sharing screen, and I'll hand over to Ollie to ask us some of the questions.
Yeah. So firstly, there is a question that maybe Verena would like to answer, please, around the stars and whether there'll be good visibility of stars given the lack of light pollution.
Well, yes, there is lack of light pollution, but there is also lack of nighttime at the peak of the season. So
Good point.
if you are interested in stargazing, maybe the best option would be to go very early in the season or very late in the season, mostly very late, when you do get some hours of darkness. Otherwise, no success.
Yeah.
And
Thank
the
you.
end of the season is late March. Late March departures.
Yeah.
There's a few questions around how many guests are allowed on shore at any one time, and how do we do landings if that's the case. So Karin, I think that's a good one for you, please.
Yeah, it's something that all three of us can answer, but we are obliged through our commitment to IATO and the guidelines that we follow to only have 100 people ashore at any given point of time for guests, and that's excluded guides. So and that goes for any operator. It's not just us, it's everyone. So it's for HX and it's for Quark, it's for everyone.
Yeah. And as part of that, we manage people through boat groups. So everybody's assigned a boat group and we rotate people through. So at one time we will have people landing. We'll also have people doing small boat cruising, also people in the science boat, and also people kayaking. So there's multiple things happening at the same time. And that's all managed through the team on board and assigning to boat groups. And that runs through the day. So there's opportunities for everyone to do everything, and it's part of that rotation.
Great. And related to that, Tudor, perhaps this was one for you, please, in terms of our ships and the size. So Royal Amundsen and Fridtjof Nansen are about 445 guests total. How does that? What benefits do we offer by having ships of that size versus some people who have 100, 200 guest ships?
In terms of ship size, then the size of the ship does provide a lot of comfort. It also, in terms of emissions, we have lower emissions, and we also have the purpose-built science centres, restaurants. So there are lots of advantages. One of the questions is, how does that differ to a smaller ship? So MS Fram will go potentially to 2 different places in one day. Nansen and Amundsen will spend a lot longer in one place and offer those different activities to everybody through the day. So Amundsen and Nansen, you get a sort of immersive experience, experiencing a landing from going ashore, and also those small boat cruising, kayaking. So we offer the same level of activity, which is very important. And we also have the option to do a lot more on board on Amundsen and Nansen. So the feedback we get from guests is incredible on those experiences, incredibly high ratings for the experience.
And obviously we have MS Fram, which is a smaller ship.
Yes. Yeah.
And then the question has actually come, do we do more landings with MS Fram versus the other 2 ships, or is it a similar level?
Yeah, we do more landings from Fram, but maybe less cruising.
Yeah.
So the balance of activities is the same, but the type of activity will vary.
But also talking Antarctica, we do have a lot more sea days on Fram as well as compared to Amundsen and Nansen.
Because of the longevity of the trip.
Because the itineraries,
Great. Karin, there's a question around snowshoeing being classified as a company, and that would be an extra £1,500 for this particular guest.
Wow.
Any suggestions on how we could do it responsibly? Because that sounds a bit ridiculous.
You were falling out a little bit there, Ollie, so I didn't get the entire
Oh,
question.
sorry.
So this snowshoeing, and was it the cost of the snowshoeing?
Yeah, so there's an extra cost for the insurance company apparently to do the snowshoeing. Can't say snowshoeing. Any suggestions on how we could do that responsibly or alternative so that they don't have to pay the £1,500 for the snowshoeing?
I think maybe that goes back to maybe, and bear with me, this is the first time I ever hear a question of that sort. So I don't want to be the final judge on this, but I think this has to be explained differently to the insurance company, because an activity of this sort within the framework of, if this was an independent expedition, I would understand that. That amount, but this is not. You're under the umbrella of a company, so I would go back to the insurance company honestly and describe it, and then I think we need to go back to the drawing board here and look at this. It's the first time I ever hear it, and yes, I agree for you who are asking this question, Jacqueline. This sounds very strange, so we'll try to get an answer, but I would go back to the insurance.
I think it may be the classification as a winter sport combined with alpine skiing or something which is more high risk.
High risk, but it's also.
But it's not. It's super low risk.
When you're not doing this solitary. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Verena, there's a question around avian flu, and whether there will be any landing sites closed and what the restrictions are around bird flu in Antarctica.
Well, that is something that we will have to follow up throughout the season. We do have a very strict biosecurity protocol procedures that we all follow. All IATO members do actually. And amongst those guidelines, we have to do an assessment on every landing site. If there are signs of avian flu, we will not land. But the sites are as of now all open, of course. But we are also supporting avian flu research on board a number of IATO vessels who will be providing information throughout the season also on the status.
Yeah, thank you. Given that you three all wear glasses, there's a question that any of you could answer. I couldn't, but normally this guest has asked, I usually wear contact lenses rather than glasses. Is this a problem in Antarctic weather?
No, I mean it's not. We're not. The average temperature again, during the summer season, -5 to +10 during the summer season. No problem at all with contact lenses. Prescription sunglasses or contact lenses and ordinary sunglasses, no problem at all.
The only challenge could be a very windy or day with a lot of snow, but then you just wear goggles or sunglasses or something. But no.
Makes sense. And Karin, on the kayaking, are there several days planned for kayaking? How does that work?
Let me say it this way. We will try to kayak as often as the weather will permit us, actually. So the answer is yes.
Short.
Yeah. And there's a lot more opportunities moving forwards with the new Discovery kayaks that we have, right? So
yeah, but as for frequency, it's the same as it has been. We take every opportunity, so that hasn't changed. It's a yes.
But the slots, the equipment, we have more equipment,
more slots
available for it.
More equipment available. Yeah.
More equipment and more opportunities, but yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Yeah, there's a few questions around muck boots and what shoes to bring and to wear. So Tudor or Karin, maybe.
Yeah, we loan everybody a muck type boot, and we have size range from 33 European to 50, which is basically super small to super big. We ask everyone, or we require everybody to wear these on landings unless there's a medical reason not to, and that's because we go through quite a lot of biosecurity process to keep boots clean. We go through a biocide, a cleaning process for all the landings. So those are the boots we wear off the ship for activities. They're incredibly warm, supportive. In fact, we in this room we all love them. But then on board, we ask for people to have comfortable footwear that they're comfortable wearing around the ship, but also that they will keep their feet warm and have a bit of grip when they're going out on deck. So there's a mix. So yeah, off the ship, the muck boots that we loan, and then on the ship, comfortable footwear.
There's a question around, is there a risk of foggy weather conditions? I guess it's Antarctica, so there could be any sort of conditions, but yeah, Tudor.
You tend to, you occasionally do get fog, and then it tends to be fairly local. So it's a case of, yes, getting the ship in the right place at the right time, and you can be sailing through a bit of fog, and then all of a sudden you're in sun. So it can happen, the same as you said, Ollie. All other conditions you can get very easily. So from wind, but to super calm weather. So having, in terms of clothing, that flexibility of layers, and being able to adapt to the conditions, and working our expedition teams and captains to get the best place for the best experiences.
Right. I just thought there was a question for me around what I used to protect my iPhone, and that was just a simple plastic case that you can buy off Amazon or other providers that are available. It was, about £15 or something, with a string to go around your neck, and very useful for excursions and landings. We'll go to a final couple of questions as we are over time. Verena, any recommendations around camera lenses?
It depends if you are a keen wildlife photographer or a keen landscape photographer. But if you want to cover both, I would suggest to bring a good wide angle zoom, between 20 to 80, for example, and then another one, 70. My personal favorite lens, Nikon lens, is the 70 to 200 2.8. That you do, it can be a bit challenging when you want to get the detail on the eye of a bird, flying bird. For that, you would need a longer lens, around the 400 millimeters, but we do get quite close to wildlife, so the 200 is a very good compromise. And of course, the 400s are also heavier and bigger.
Okay, thank you. Tudor or Karin, is there a lottery on board for excursions?
Not a lottery per se. In terms of kayaking, snowshoeing, there's a sign-up list which you do on board, and as part of that, then you're allocated a group, of course, and then we cycle through the people through the duration of the trip. And the one thing that with camping, we take a lot more people now, so we hope to be able to take everybody that wants to go camping. If we are oversubscribed for camping, then we do we sort of pull out of a hat those that if we're oversubscribed. But we hope now, with our new improved capacity, that we're able to take the majority of the people that want to go camping.
Great, thank you. And any tips from any of you on what medicine to take to ensure that you're not impacted by the Drake shake?
I think everybody knows their own personal limits in terms of potential motion sickness. I think the one that's used is popular amongst guests are the patches that you get. You wear one patch and that sort of controls a bit of motion sickness. They seem to be very popular. Ginger is a common alternative medicine, so ginger pills, stem ginger, all work. So it's people use different things, but yeah, the patches I think are the most common that we see on board.
There are also the sea bands.
Yeah, the bands,
the
pressure bands. Yeah.
Fantastic. I think that concludes the Q&A. I think we've answered most of the questions. If you have very specific questions, then please do reach out to our call center or your travel agent directly, and they should be able to help. But thank you for joining today. We appreciate your attendance, and hopefully you've learned a little around the Antarctic from our experts. And we thank you to the panelists for your enthusiasm and engagement. And all that remains to be said is that we have a feedback survey that will pop up, so please do leave us your feedback so that we can look to improve these sessions for future. But
and we look forward to seeing you on board sometime.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Sooner
thank
the
you,
better.
everyone.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Bye.